You don't just scroll anymore, you compare. And somehow, without deciding to, you start feeling smaller. Like everyone else is moving forward and you're standing still. But here's the part that's harder to notice. What if it's not your confidence that's weak, but your environment that's quietly reshaping your mind? But within seconds, you're pulled into a stream of perfect faces, perfect bodies, perfect lives, filtered, edited. So slowly, you start measuring your life against something that was never real. You look at your face, and it feels slightly off. Your routine feels boring. Your progress feels slow. And without saying it out loud, you begin to believe, maybe I'm not enough. This doesn't just stay in your thoughts. It changes your behavior. You hesitate to post. You overthink your appearance. You delete things that don't get enough likes. You start performing instead of living. And eventually, your self-worth becomes dependent on invisible numbers, likes, views, comments, validation quantified. But here's the deeper layer. This isn't just insecurity. It's a psychological loop, a system that keeps reinforcing itself. And the more you engage with it, the more it shapes how you see yourself. It's easy to think, I'm just not confident enough. I care too much about what others think. But that's not the full truth. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Adapt. Learn from the environment. Update your self-image based on social feedback. In evolutionary psychology, your brain is wired for social belonging because, historically, being accepted by the group meant survival. So your brain constantly scans for, where do I stand? Am I valued? Do I belong? Social media takes this ancient system and amplifies it endlessly, artificially, relentlessly. So no, you're not broken. You're responding to a system that was never built for your mental stability. Psychological mechanism. Let's slow this down, because this is where things become clear. Your brain runs on something called dopamine-based reinforcement. Dopamine is not just pleasure, it's anticipation. Every time you get a like, a notification, a comment, your brain releases a small spike of dopamine, and it remembers, this matters. Do this again. Now combine that with algorithms. Social media platforms are designed using behavioral psychology principles, specifically variable reward schedules. This is the same mechanism used in slot machines. You don't get rewarded every time, but sometimes you do. And that unpredictability makes it addictive. Your brain keeps checking because the next scroll might feel rewarding. Now add one more layer, social comparison theory. Your brain constantly compares you to others to evaluate your position. But here's the distortion. You're not comparing your real life to other people's real lives. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their edited highlights. And your brain doesn't correct for that bias. It simply concludes, I'm behind. So here's the mental model. Think of your mind like a mirror. Social media slowly becomes the light shining on it. If the light is distorted, the reflection becomes distorted too. And after a while, you forget that the mirror was ever clear. Practical framework. This is where most advice goes wrong. It tells you to just stop using social media. But your brain doesn't work that way. So instead, you need to change how your brain interacts with it. Step 1. Reduce passive consumption. What to do? Limit mindless scrolling. Set specific times for usage instead of endless access. Why it works. Passive scrolling increases upward social comparison, which lowers self-esteem. Your brain absorbs information without context or control. Example, instead of opening the app randomly, you decide, I'll use it for 15 minutes after dinner. Now your brain shifts from automatic to intentional. Step 2. Curate your input. What to do? Unfollow or mute accounts that trigger comparison. Follow content that feels real, grounded, or educational. Why it works: your brain adapts to repeated exposure. This is called neuroplasticity. What you see repeatedly becomes your normal. Example: if your feed is full of unrealistic beauty standards, your brain recalibrates what normal looks like. Change the input, and your internal standards begin to shift. Step 3. Shift from validation to expression. What to do? Post things you genuinely care about, without checking performance immediately. Why it works: this reduces external validation dependence. Your brain starts associating posting with self-expression, not reward-seeking. Example: you share something meaningful, and instead of checking likes every 5 minutes, you close the app. You teach your brain, this is about expression, not approval. Step 4. Interrupt the comparison loop. What to do? When you catch yourself comparing, pause and label it. Just say internally, this is comparison. Why it works: this activates metacognition, awareness of your thoughts. It weakens automatic emotional reactions. Example: you see someone's success post and feel inadequate. Instead of spiraling, you notice it. That small pause breaks the loop. Step 5. Rebuild offline identity. What to do? Invest time in real-world actions, skills, conversations, physical movement. Why it works: self-esteem is built through competence and experience, not observation. Your brain needs real evidence, not digital signals. Example: you spend 1 hour learning something instead of scrolling. Now your brain has something real to anchor confidence to. So let's bring this together. Your mind is not weak. It's adaptive, but adaptation depends on environment. Social media is not just a tool, it's a psychological environment, one that constantly feeds your brain comparison, validation, distortion. So the goal is not to escape it completely, but to change your relationship with it. Here's the simplest way to remember this: you are not what you consume. You are what you repeatedly attend to. Attention shapes perception. Perception shapes identity. And identity shapes behavior. When you take control of your attention, you slowly take back control of how you see yourself. There's nothing wrong with wanting to feel seen, to feel valued, to feel like you matter. That's human. But when your sense of worth depends on a system designed to keep you engaged, not fulfilled, you slowly lose touch with your own signal. So maybe the real question isn't, am I enough? Maybe the real question is, who would I be if I wasn't constantly being measured? And the answer to that is not something you scroll into, it's something you return to, quietly, over time, without an audience.